Hey everybody, it's Justin from Built, and my friends over at Creality just sent me over the Falcon 2 22-watt laser engraver, honeycomb bed, and enclosure for the laser. And Creality is a big name in the 3D printer industry, and now they've gotten into laser engravers. So I'm very excited to put this all together and see what it's capable of. In particular, too, I'm very interested in the enclosure. I have a custom-built enclosure with ventilation in the wood shop here, but not everybody has that luxury, and so this is a great option that is cheap, affordable, and quick to build that'll enable you to use a laser engraver in your home or shop. So I'm interested to see how that goes too. So let's get into it today on Built. So I already unpacked all of this stuff because usually when I get one of these machines, I do a time lapse for building everything. But I put it all back in because guess what? There is no time lapse needed. Now it's not going to come out, right? Because it's already all put together. It comes 99% fully assembled in here. The only thing that I have to do is screw on 4 feet to that. So great job. I like not having to build a machine, and it's already done. It comes with your typical instruction manuals and stuff. Comes with some fun stickers. And it comes with some large media. I like large pieces to experiment with. Now this is a deluxe kit, so it has everything that you could want with a laser engraver. So it has an air assist, which is going to keep your laser lens clean. It's also going to help you penetrate further into the wood. It comes with a roller assembly, so you're going to be able to do tumblers and stuff with that, rings, and it comes with glasses. This seems like of course it comes with glasses, but a lot of them don't, and it is beyond imperative that you are wearing your safety equipment when you use this machine. Comes with a full toolkit, including a lot of spares like a laser lens and screws. And then the thing that really got me was when I looked in the bottom, it comes with a honeycomb bed in addition to the steel plate. But I haven't seen one that comes with a honeycomb bed. Now, I will say this is a little itty-bitty one, and everybody includes these little things. I don't know why you just don't include the full-size one, because that's what we should have. But at least it does come with one, so you get some points for that. Installation was quick. I just had to put 4 legs on and put the laser right here. Click in the cable, and the hose was already mounted, so I just had to push the hose into the top. Super simple. I like a lot of the fit and finish stuff on this. They have obviously spent some time and actually done a good job with the little stuff. And the little stuff is always what's important to me because, you know, the main thing, it's a laser. If it cuts and moves, great. But all the little stuff is what will differentiate you from somebody else. So having lots of cable management throughout here, even a track, a U-channel track. So as this cable lays down as it goes back, it holds it in place. That's very nice. The quality of the materials feels very nice and premium. You should get the bigger honeycomb tray. The one that's included, I am very happy that you included one. That's cool. But, you know, I always wonder why manufacturers give such a little itty-bitty thing when you have this much cutting area, right? The unit comes with a metal setup block, which is nice. And, of course, it comes with a lock. Every unit should have a lock. Lasers are dangerous. You have to use protection when you're using this thing, and if you put your hand in here, you're going to, if it cuts wood, it's going to cut you, right? So having a lock here, especially if you have children, is super important. They didn't use off-the-shelf controllers. They did their own UI over here, which is great. Let's go ahead and assemble the enclosure because I want to do the entire video with that in here instead of using my custom stuff, because that's really what most people are going to use in their home or shop in order to get away all of the smoke and fumes that come from doing a laser engraver. All right, well, definitely some assembly required on the enclosure. Let's build it and see how long it takes. I'm pausing the installation for a second because there's one thing you need to do that the instructions doesn't indicate. You need to plug this in and see what way the fan is actually blowing. And it's not obvious. People have used computer fans. I'm sure you're yelling at me right now, but you should make sure, and you want the blowing to blow out of the unit. All right, 15 minutes. That was not that bad to set this up. The enclosure itself is kind of like a top-down. You set it just right on top of your unit, so it's really easy to just take it off, do what you need to do, and put it back on again if you have to. The main purpose of this is to expel the smoke and bad fumes that this can generate. And so there's a computer fan that blows this out the hose. So put this hose out your window or under your garage door so that this does a good job in containing the smoke and whatnot. Now, this is considered a secondary eye protection. You should still be wearing your futuristic cyberpunk glasses at all times when you use a laser. But, you know, if my family walks into the room, they're not going to be wearing these, and so just a cursory look over at this machine, they'll get some protection from this unit. But make sure to still wear your glasses. All right, so I have my hose underneath my garage door. I have my air assist hooked up, and I have everything ready to go. Now, when we first want to turn this on, we're going to turn the key to on. And you'll be able to hear the air assist being loud and noisy, and you will hear the actual air coming in through the unit. Now, this is normal and fine, and the same that I have in all of my other air assist unit engravers. However, something's going to happen in a second which freaked me out, and it is that it's going to stop. Which makes total sense, because why have this running when you're not actually running the machine? And in my other engravers, there we go, it just stays on all the time. This one, it turns it off and goes into standby mode. Now, usually when I'm using a laser engraver, I just hook it up to my laptop and use Lightburn, but I wanted to play this time and use the memory card on the side. So once you insert the memory card, then what you're going to do is hit the frame button. And the frame is going to move the laser, and it's going to make a square around where it is going to engrave. And that gives you an option to then move your material into place. The way you see if it's in place is you see that small little dot. It's projecting its laser, but at a very low setting. And so if you see it on the material, it's going to cut there. But if you see on here, when it moves to the back of the front, it's disappearing. That means it's coming off the material. So I have to just move it a little bit. The way I can do that is by pressing the directional buttons on here, and it will move just very slightly in any direction. I find this really, really nice. It really helps if you're going to be printing from the card. If you're doing it from the computer, you would just do it in the software. Okay, so the little Creality logo guy came out pretty good. Some decent engraving in here. It cut it out all the way, and very little burning outside of the engrave. So I'm going to go ahead and run all of my typical gambit of tests, and we'll see how it comes out. We cut through and engraved on the 1/16 inch basswood, so super, super thin stuff. No surprise there. We were able to cut through the 1/8 inch hardboard. That's a standard with laser engravers. I was able to get through 1/4 inch, 1/4, or 5 millimeters. I was able to get through MDF and pine plywood. And of course that means I would be able to get through solid pine as well, because these are much harder to get through than those. I was able to cleanly cut on both. There was no charring on the backs. So this is a total usable product, and it was only one pass on each of these. So you're definitely easily cutting 1/4 inch in these materials. At the 1/2 inch category, or 12 millimeters, we were able to cut through on 1/2 inch pine plywood. However, it did cause a good amount of charring. And that's because there's a lot of glue in the plywood, which inhibits the laser effectiveness. As you see here, this is solid pine, and it is cutting through very cleanly at 2 passes. At 3/4 inch, or 19 millimeters, we were able to cleanly cut through solid pine with 2 passes. This to me was really impressive. I did not think this laser was going to be able to accomplish this cleanly, and it did. So this does open up lots of opportunities in the woodworking space, being able to cleanly cut this pine. So we went over to metal. Of course, your typical aluminum business card, quick and easy. 3 minutes on the engraving right here. Did it clean, did it great. No burning or anything, so very happy with that. I then went over to this piece of stainless steel, and before I did it, I tried out, the grid pattern, and then once I kind of figured out what I wanted, I did my logo right here, and it came out really good. So I flipped it over to do a really big logo, and I personally goofed. I forgot that I had multiple passes on, so it did one pass, and then it got to here before I realized, and I stopped it. So oops to me, but it did come out very well. So very easy to do this. This can engrave this in one pass in just a few minutes. So stainless steel is very cool to engrave on. Another note on the stainless steel. So in a previous video, I did this engraving on this piece of stainless steel, and this is really thin. It's 0.75 millimeters. And so the heat of the laser caused it to warp and ripple all over the place. On this one, we're at 2 millimeters. This is really thick plate steel, and I'm not getting any warping on it, so the engraving was very nice and consistent all the way through. If the metal raises and lowers in height, it actually screws up the laser. So it's very important that it stays flat. So the thicker material you use, the better. This laser, I was trying to see if I could get some colors out of it, like I did with this one. However, the 22-watt laser, I don't believe is powerful enough in order to get colors. I didn't see anything come up on the stainless steel. If I had a piece of titanium, I would try it, but unfortunately I don't. When changing between engraving and cutting, the airflow power is very important. So this unit has a dial built in on the side so that I can raise or lower my airflow. You always want to have at least some airflow coming out even when you're engraving, because that protects the lens. It keeps all that smoke and fire out of the lens cavity. And when you're cutting, you want to dial it all the way up so that you can achieve the deepest cuts that you possibly can. In engraving, I do this test in every single laser that I'm looking at. This is my Bittner-Built subscribe QR code, and this one is the Creality 22 watt. This is a 5.5 watt laser, and this is a 36 watt laser. I will definitely say that this one is the worst and has a lot of charring in order to get the depth for this engraving, so this one passes out. And I would say that the two of these are very much dead even as far as the quality of the engraving. And so this is performing just like a stronger laser does. When you look at engraving, the more powerful the laser is, the faster you can achieve your goal, and the thicker you can cut. But a more powerful laser in engraving really isn't necessary per se. So really it only adds a little bit of speed to the process. I would only say this was about 10% faster than this one. So with the higher increased price, this is a great value for that. Now Creality also makes a 40 watt laser for this setup as well. So if you are in need of a laser that goes much deeper in its cuts and even faster, they do have a 40 watt version. Last thing I want to take a look at is the roller attachment. I've never used one of these before. I'm actually really excited to do it. And in order to do it, we need to raise up the machine. So I've already done one of these feet here. And basically what we do is the rubber foot spins off. And then you can add 1 or 2 segments. This is 2 segments. And just screw it on. The number of segments that you add is based on how large of an item is going under here, how much you need to raise it by. I'm going to use a pretty large tumbler mug, so I'm going to raise it all the way. After raising the unit's legs, it's time to install this guy. And what we're going to do is attach it to the y-axis. The y-axis, this is the front of the unit. So this is the motor right here that we unplug its cable from, and we simply plug it into the attachment. I've run into a small problem, and that is, even though I have this machine raised, this cup is huge, and so I'm actually colliding with it with this black metal mounting plate back here. So I need to raise the machine up even further just because of how large this cup is. So I'm going to have to raise each foot equally all the way around. Cool, so now I'm tall enough where I'm going to be able to pass over it as I go. Sweet. Now I need to position this in the top of the corner, and I'm going to tell the computer to go ahead and just print where I have it starting at. Okay, well, I goofed. It definitely did it. However, my logo is pretty stretched out at the moment. Not looking exactly how it should be. So I'm going to play around with it. This is going to become my test cup, and we'll get it working correct. So my cup is now engraving correctly. The problem that I had was I did not put the correct size of the cup in here. It had a value of 50 millimeters when in reality the circumference of this is 100 millimeters. And so once I changed that factor, it made my logo correct. So now this shall forever be my test cup that I'll just test things on first. I'm going to go ahead and put in a cup that I care about and see if the final product looks good. All right, so we got it done. The key aspect is to make sure that you are putting in the correct dimensions of your bottle, and then it should come out looking really, really nice. Could not be happier with how clean that looks. Definitely looks like it's professionally done. All right, so my final thoughts on this laser. The fit and finish are excellent. They took into account all the little stuff. That's what you want. That's what differentiates you from other machines. When it comes to the engraving capabilities of this, very good. I didn't see any char on my engravings. It went fast. It produced a very quality engraving. When it comes to cutting on this machine, the fact that I was able to cleanly cut through 3/4 inch solid pine is a big win, because at 22 watts, I didn't think that I would be able to do this, and I did, and it's clean. And so that really opens up this laser to a wide range of woodworking opportunities in the market, because 3/4 inch is a majority of what a lot of us use for a lot of projects. The included air assist is great. I'm pretty sure that this was one of the deluxe kits that came with everything. You can just get it with the air assist and the machine. This one came with the roller, the honeycomb bed as well, and the big honeycomb bed is good. Now, enclosure-wise, the enclosure that they sent is excellent. I highly recommend it. You should put an enclosure on a laser engraver. Now, I have a custom thing that I built into my house that has a hole in the side of my house, but if you're not ready to put a hole in the side of your house, that is a great option. You can just throw that hose right out a window or under the garage door, and you're not going to smell anything. For the past 2 days, I have not smelled anything when I've worked with it, and I made a huge mistake that I took the enclosure off when I did the black tumbler. I wanted to get good video shots of it. Well, as soon as it started engraving that black metal tumbler, it was releasing something really bad into the air. And I had to put a fan, open the garage door, and run out the door real quick because I did not want to breathe it in. So I should have had it in the enclosure. I should know better than that. And so for you, make sure you're keeping everything in the enclosure all the time. Thank you so much to Creality for sending this out to me. I had a great time with it. I'm actually going to make another video on this one next week because I need to make a present for my mom for her birthday. She sent me something that she would like, and I'm like, oh, I can make this on a laser. So I'm going to use this to make that next week. So stay tuned for that one. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and of course, stay safe in the shop. I will see you in the next video.